Today, as voters head to polling booths to decide who will be the next president, their decision is going to be based on a lot of things: political leanings, issues, policies. But more than anything else, perhaps, what matters is a voter's perception of the candidate, which is shaped over months of campaigning. So let's take a closer look at how each candidate fared in this election, a SWOT analysis, if you will, of their presidential run. We'll start with Kamala Harris, the incumbent vice president and the Democratic Party nominee. Harris is a trailblazer. She is America's first female vice president, the first vice president of Indian heritage, and also the first black vice president. She's 60 years old and she's already shattered a lot of glass ceilings, and now she's aiming to shatter the biggest one of all. She's trying to be America's first female president. Helping her in this endeavor is her running mate Tim Walz. He's the incumbent governor of the state of Minnesota, a former high school teacher and football coach. This is the Democratic duo trying to make history. Harris came into this presidential race strong. Remember how it happened. Joe Biden was initially the Democratic nominee, but his age and incoherence always weighed him down. It all came to a head during the first presidential debate when Trump wiped the floor with him. The Democrats were despondent, and then came in Kamala Harris, a breath of fresh air. She was young, at 60 years of age, a whole 2 decades younger than Biden. Therefore, she was more energetic. She didn't have trouble finishing sentences, although she can be incoherent too. And she hasn't been caught wandering off or looking in the wrong direction at major events. These may sound like the bare basics, but the Democrats had been starved of even this under Joe Biden. So Harris, with her age and energy, was an upgrade for them. Her second big strength is her party line on abortion.
It is a fight for freedom, like the fundamental freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom nationwide, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly.
Make no mistake, abortion is a major issue, and it could very well carry the Democrats. It has been propping them up for over 2 years now. Between 1973 and 2022, all American women had the right to get an abortion. But that right was struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2022. The Democratic Party has promised to bring back the right to have an abortion and enshrine it in the U.S. Constitution. Harris is very much at the forefront of this cause, which has won her support from women across age groups. Next, let's talk money. This is the U.S. presidential election, after all. Money matters a lot, and Harris has raised a lot of it. The Democrats have raised over $1 billion during this presidential campaign. Kamala Harris broke numerous fundraising records. All this money translates into more boots on the ground, more campaign activities, more political ads, the works. It definitely helps push the needle. But will it be enough to hand Harris the White House? Because for all her strengths, she also has a number of weaknesses. We'll start with the baggage. Kamala Harris is the sitting vice president. She's been in the government for almost 4 years now. So everything that has gone wrong under Biden, Harris has had a hand in it. Over the past few years, the U.S. has seen a cost of living crisis, inflation hitting the roof, bringing hardship for ordinary Americans. For these people, their government failed to protect them, and Harris is very much part of that failure. The U.S. economy was a major weakness for the Harris campaign. Another weakness was migration. When Donald Trump was president, illegal immigration into the U.S. was lower. That is a fact. Illegal immigration surged after Biden took over. Biden tried to undo the damage earlier this year, but by then, it was already too late. U.S. citizens don't trust Democrats when it comes to securing the southern border. They don't trust Joe Biden, and they don't trust Kamala Harris. Her third weakness is foreign policy, especially the war in Gaza. Arab Americans accuse the Democrats of enabling a genocide against Palestinians by funding Israel. They blame Kamala Harris because she is the sitting vice president. And this is a crucial vote bank. The Democrats have not gained pro-Israel votes to make up for the Arab American votes that they've lost. So Harris will bleed those votes. All these weaknesses are easy to see and exploit.
But over the past 4 years, Americans have suffered one catastrophic failure, betrayal, and humiliation after another. Kamala Harris has delivered soaring prices and economic anguish at home, war and chaos abroad, and nation-destroying invasion on our southern border like nobody's ever seen before. She's actually a disaster.
So what will triumph? Will Kamala Harris's strengths paper over her weaknesses, or will the failures cast a shadow on her positives? We'll know soon enough. Washington is all set for a presidential battle like no other.
In less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me sitting in the Oval Office.
Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump.
All we want is one simple thing: get out on Tuesday.
A vice president versus a former president. As we head towards election night, Vantage will be live from the heart of the action, speaking to voters in this final stretch,
I'm still very undecided.
Very close presidential race.
tracking the campaigns as they make the last push. From exclusive ground reports to in-depth analysis, this is your one-stop destination for the presidential race. Join us on this special edition of Vantage, live from the White House in Washington, D.C.